Welcome to Hannity, and we start tonight with a Fox News alert. 4 major breaking stories we're covering. None of this news is good for the Democratic Party, the deep state, or the mob and the media. Now, we start with this massive news. The deep state, I guarantee you, this was leaked on purpose to get ahead of what is coming, and that is a huge crisis, because breaking just moments ago, another blow to the Democrats' impeachment charade. There is a report at this hour that an FBI official is now under criminal investigation for altering a document related to the 2016 surveillance of the Trump campaign advisor, Carter Page. Now, remember, the FISA warrant against Donald Trump campaign, remember, that was the back door to get everything into all things Trump campaign, Trump transition team, Trump presidency. Now, these reports bearing out, well, that would be called FISA abuse. Exactly what we have been exposing on this show for a very, very long time. And now, finally, after years of waiting, thanks to the Horowitz probe, now at an end, justice is about to be served. Clearly, this is being leaked in advance to try and get ahead of the report that Lindsey Graham confirmed to us last night right here on this program. The FISA report will come out on December the 9th. Horowitz will testify before the Senate Judiciary, that's Lindsey Graham's committee, on December the 11th. We're going to continue to monitor this developing story throughout the hour. Sarah Carter will break more news on this in a minute. We're also tracking 4 other big stories. Get this, including another disastrous day for the Schiff impeachment coup attempt. It was even worse, believe it or not, than yesterday. Plus major new information surrounding the Bidens, thanks to a letter from Senator Lindsey Graham. We have that letter. We also have a great new video. You're going to want to hit your record button tonight and get this for, well, decades to come. But first, we start in the Washington swamp. More hearsay, more conjecture, more opinion, and more arrogant bureaucrats. Oh, and an overheard phone call in a busy restaurant that, are you ready for this, was not on speaker, contradicting the person that was actually on the private call, and the person was at the other end of the table. This is how bad this Schiff show has now become. It's so bad, he even presented a fact witness today with 0 facts, none whatsoever. This was the Schiff show's grand finale. This was his closing argument. And today's hearing was supposed to tie everything together. Instead, again, this blew up right in Schiff's face and the Democrats' faces. Here's what Congressman Jim Jordan said with the perfect summary of the non-case of the Democratic Party against the President of the United States. Take a look.
July 19th, Dr. Hill, Colonel Vindman told Taylor what Sondland told them. July 19th, Sondland told Taylor about the upcoming Trump-Zelensky call. July 20th, Sondland told Taylor what Sondland told Zelensky to tell Trump. July 20th, Dana Look tells Taylor what Zelensky told Dana Look. July 28th, Morrison tells Taylor what happened on the Trump-Zelensky call. August 16th, Volker tells Taylor what Yarmak told Volker. August 21st, Breckbull talks to Taylor. August 22nd, Morrison talks to Taylor. August 29th, Yarmak talks to Taylor. September 1st, Morrison tells Taylor what Sondland told Morrison about what Yarmak told Sondland. September 2nd, Morrison tells Taylor what Dana Look told Morrison. September 7th, Morrison tells Taylor what Sondland told Trump. And September 8th, Sondland tells Taylor what Trump told Sondland.
All right, you follow that? Because that is the Democrats' case. That's it in a nutshell. That's supposed to be their compelling evidence. That's why they want to hurt this country, bring this country to the brink of impeachment, because they never got over the fact that Donald Trump won the election. They never saw it coming. The 2 witnesses today, utter train wrecks. One, a diplomat named David Holmes. He actually claimed, this is not, I'm not making this up, that he overheard President Trump on a phone call talk about an investigation on the other end of the phone call with Ambassador Sondland, while this guy was sitting across the table from Sondland at a busy, loud restaurant, and the call wasn't even on speaker. Wow, super hearing now. Holmes did not hear the entire conversation. His testimony contradicts what the guy actually on the call said. That was supposed to be yesterday's star witness, Gordon Sondland. That's what the Schiff show is now reduced to. The other witness from today's hearing, 0. I mean 0 relevant facts. It wasn't even totally clear why she was there. And the opening statement falsely accused Republicans of ignoring Russia meddling and also falsely accused Republicans of pushing a conspiracy theory about Ukrainian election interference. Will somebody please give her the January 11, 2017 report at Politico.com about Ukrainian election interference? Somebody needs to please give her the Ukrainian court's own findings that Ukraine did, in fact, interfere in the 2016 elections to help Hillary Clinton and hurt Donald Trump. Now, thankfully, in a powerful moment, well, this was really powerful. Congressman Winstrup, well, he set the record straight. Take a look at this.
You know, in 1998, I voluntarily joined the United States Army Reserve because I saw our country under attack time and time again. Bill Clinton was the president. I didn't vote for Bill Clinton, but he was my commander-in-chief. I'm grateful to live in a country that gets to legitimately elect our leaders. And I've been to places where people don't get to. And it's not pretty. Dr. Hill, I'm sorry, I have to say this. You said based on statements you've heard that some in this committee believe Russia did not conduct a campaign against our country is false. That's Mr. Schiff's narrative. That's where you've heard it. We did a whole report on it. And we agree that Russia has done this since the Soviet Union, and they've actually gotten better at it. That's a problem. But at the same time, certain Ukrainians did work against candidate Trump. Some with the DNC. And if that's debunked, why is it Mr. Schiff has denied DNC operative Alexandra Chalupa from testifying to come forward and debunk it?
All right, remember, Politico reported that Chalupa, well, she was the DNC operative. Remember, she worked directly with the Ukrainian embassy in Washington. She went there to collude, to dig up dirt on Hillary Clinton and smear Donald Trump and members of his campaign team. That would be called, in my mind, collusion. But today's witness, a so-called Ukraine expert, knew nothing about it. Reporter Cheryl Atkinson, formerly of CBS News, pointed out the idea that some of our top experts on Ukraine are closed-minded to this information, and at least one said he was entirely unaware of it, but were making important decisions, could be considered disturbing. Yeah, you think? This was probably the biggest revelation out of the hearings. It has nothing to do with President Trump, and without a doubt, the Schiff show is a giant failure dud. But don't take my word for it. Just listen to former independent counsel Ken Starr. He thought yesterday, oh, this is going to be really a bad day for the Republicans and for President Trump. He's now changed his mind.
We're not in trial. We're in a fact-gathering mode, but what are we gathering facts about? And was there a crime? And then let's weigh the gravity and seriousness of that crime. Does it reach the level of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors? My assessment of the evidence thus far, nowhere close. The evidence is conflicting and ambiguous.
Conflicting, ambiguous, nowhere close. This is an absolute, unmitigated disaster now for the Democrats. Now you have even the compromised, corrupt, coward, congenital liar, Adam Schiff, guy that's lied to us for 3 years. He knows that this is a disaster, and he showed his anger. Republicans defeated the Schiff show so badly, well, as the Charlie Daniels song says, and the devil went down to Georgia, and he knew he'd been beat. And he laid that golden fiddle on the ground at Donald Trump's feet, I guess, in this case. He lost. He knew it. And by the way, you know, before we show you this, you have to remember, this is the guy, the only person on tape ever caught colluding with somebody that he thinks is a Russian to get compromising materials on Donald Trump. This isn't the first time this guy got caught lying, like he lied about, oh, I have no idea who the whistleblower is. Well, I should have been honest about it, but no, now I don't know about it. By the way, one of my favorite tapes of all time, the very thing accusing Donald Trump of with Russia, he was guilty of compromising materials. Listen.
The day after Bob Mueller testified that Donald Trump invited Russian interference, hey, Russia, if you're listening, come get Hillary's emails.
Do you have something hard that you can't reveal?
I can't reveal that, Chris.
The other defense is The president denies it.
We have not spoken directly with the whistleblower.
Donald Trump is back on the phone asking another nation to involve itself in another U.S. election.
And what's the nature of the compromise?
Well, there were pictures of naked Trump.
And so Putin was made aware of the availability of the compromising material?
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much. We will be back in touch.
We shouldn't really rely on what the president said in the call record. We should imagine he said something else.
And I'm going to say this only 7 times, so you better listen good. I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent. Understand lots of it.
Compromised, corrupt, congenital liar. He's lied to the country for 3 years. 3 long years. And Schiff's closing remarks showed his rage. Now, I'm sure if it was up to him, he'd just try and bring in more hearsay witnesses, opinion witnesses for, I guess, auditions first, depositions, and then hearings. But I think Pelosi probably won't let him. Remember, she didn't want the Schiff show to begin with, and it's been pretty clear her priority is to get the hell out of this mess as quickly as possible, throw it to the Senate as quickly as possible, placate her radical base so she can remain Speaker in name only. If Democrats, they want to vote on the House floor before Christmas, well, that doesn't leave the compromised congenital liar Schiff much more time to do much more investigating. So if I had to make a prediction tonight, I'd say that Schiff admits defeat, spends next week, he'll draft ridiculous articles of impeachment and send this whole flaming bag of dog crap to the Judiciary Committee around Thanksgiving weekend. Good luck turning that garbage into something usable, Jerry Nadler. And on a side note, look at this. Now, maybe Schiff's Ukrainian fantasy, I can't believe it, might have been cooked up during his Taste of Ukraine fundraiser. That's right. The compromised congenital liar, yeah, he had a fundraiser with a Ukrainian businessman. You can't make that up. And at this point, Democrats, the top allies in the mob and the media, they are desperate. These people are the same people, same liars, same conspiracy theorists, same hoax spreaders, if you will. They've been lying to we the people now for 3+ years. One hoax after another, one conspiracy theory after another. Russia, Russia, Russia. Impeach, impeach, impeach. Month after month, every second, minute, hour of any 24-hour day. Predicting this is the president's demise. That is the president's demise. This is a game changer. Breathlessly, dramatically crying wolf for 4 years. Now, you may want to hit the record button now because you're going to want to show this to your friends. 3, 2, 1, go.
I have not seen anything like this since October 20th, 1973, when President Nixon fired Archibald Cox.
Richard Nixon.
Watergate.
Echoes of Watergate.
A giant step toward impeachment.
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 Impeachment implications are now in the air.
The president will be removed from office.
Bombshell.
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 Bombshell. Bombshell. Bombshell.
Bombshell. Bombshell stories dropping seemingly every day.
He will resign the presidency.
Warming to the idea of his resignation.
You should resign.
Resign.
The president sees the walls closing in and is lashing out.
He feels the walls closing in.
Closing in.
You could feel the thread being pulled. You can feel the clothes starting to come off the emperor. I believe this is the beginning of the end.
Donald Trump's done. He's done. There's no question about that.
2016, after the election, all through 2017, all through 2018 and 2019. Who would ever trust these people? What's not so shocking tonight is Americans, they have now had enough of this. They're seeing through this completely. Look at this new Emerson poll. A double-digit swing among independent voters. Opposition for impeachment is now up a whopping 11 points. Marquette University poll shows the support for the impeachment has dropped in the great swing state of Wisconsin. Political poll shows that voter support for impeachment is declining nationwide. Now, there are 330 million Americans, just a tiny, well, minor fraction have tuned into this, Schiff sham show and these hearings, and for good reason.